Hello, I'm Aishwarya Dudha in Saskatoon. Welcome to this spotlight on the CBC Creator Network. We're featuring mini documentaries made by young Saskatchewan storytellers. They're all about real people enriching their communities as they pursue their passions. We start here in Saskatoon, where we meet Sheldon Dingwall. He started building guitars back in the 80s when he was a young musician. But just as he began experiencing success, a devastating fire nearly ended everything.
I still remember clearly, like it was last night, the first time I heard the first multi-scale Dingwall bass being played live. It was an experience I'll never forget. My name's Sheldon Dingwall. My company's Dingwall Guitars, and we have been building electric bass guitars here in Saskatoon for the last 40 years, and we ship them all over the world. Saskatoon is our home. It's also the birthplace of the Canadian electric guitar industry. 1962, Glenn McDougall started Fury Guitar in his basement. Just knowing that that was his start, it never occurred to me that I couldn't do it too. You know, he started small, I could start small. What Glenn taught me was this Saskatchewan do-it-yourself kind of attitude. First guitar I ever built, they came in stages. Eddie Van Halen hit the scene, and so all of a sudden, there's this thing called a whammy bar on a guitar where you could control the pitch of the entire guitar just with this lever. The trouble is that on traditional designs, they go out of tune. And there was this rumor I heard of this new bridge called the Floyd Rose. You tune it, and you never have to tune it again. Being a young musician, I couldn't afford one, and they weren't available in Canada anyway, so a friend of mine and I set out to design our own. I joined a band and I toured across Western Canada using this bridge, and every time I'd come back for, let's say, a few weeks, I'd build another part. So then it was a neck, and then it was a body, and eventually was playing my own designs and road testing them. Hearing my first guitar for the very first time, and liking what I heard, liking what I felt. It was a pretty amazing experience. I still feel that way today. We starved for the first 20 years. The only people that bought our basses were engineers who didn't care about being cool. They cared about the performance and the design process. And so those guys kept us alive. You know, as soon as you build one thing, the first call you get is from somebody wanting something else that's adjacent to what you just worked on. And so we were getting a lot of bass requests from people looking for a 5-string bass, but I don't play bass, didn't come from the bass world. And so I was like, I don't think I can help you guys. But, you know, then I wake up in the middle of the night going, well, there's gotta be a solution. There's gotta be a solution. Pianos have great sounding beats. There's gotta be a solution. Very quickly, it was determined that scale length is very, very important. Then all of a sudden, a switch was flipped. The basses were taking off. I needed more space. And so I found space in the Uncle Ed's building. Had a call at 7 o'clock in the morning, pick up the phone, and it was a friend of mine said, Sheldon. I said, yeah, have you heard the news? What news? Uncle Ed's. Yeah, what about it? It's on fire. At that point, not a lot of thought. I got to the site, and there were fire trucks there, but there was a little tiny puff of smoke way on the other side of the building. I thought, oh my God, I feel so lucky. And for whatever reason, it progressed to be more than just that little puff of smoke. It eventually consumed the building, and it became the largest fire in Saskatoon's history. It filled up with gas and then exploded. It was kind of a weird experience to be watching your life burn to the ground, being surrounded by people that were there for the entertainment value. When I got home, my wife at the time was holding our 1-year-old daughter. And I walked in and I looked at them and I went, I feel like the luckiest guy in the world. They survived. I've survived. We have a warm bed to sleep in tonight. The rest we can deal with tomorrow. I wasn't sure I wanted to get back into business. I wasn't making a lot of money. I was working really long, hard hours. I was dealing with the shock and trying to pick up all the pieces. It was actually not me that decided, hey, I'm going to get back into business.
You could hear the sound of blues last night at Lydia's Pub on Broadway. In And if anyone could relate to the blues, it's this guy, Sheldon Dingwall.
Somebody's affected negatively when the bottom falls out for them. The artists get together and they help support. I think it was Corey Hildebrand who spearheaded putting together a benefit at Lydia's. A bunch of bands got together, and I was there, but I just didn't feel comfortable being inside the venue, so I kind of just hung out outside. That was about as much as I could handle at that point. It struck me that there were other small businesses in that building that lost everything as well. I shared some of the proceeds with some of the smaller businesses, and that again was support that was like, okay, I appreciate the support, and I feel more strength and more commitment to pick things back up again. I really love where things are now. In my first business plan in 1990, I talked about how I wanted to travel the world with my industry, and now I get to do that. And I really get to experience our customers' stories, and that's some of the most meaningful moments I've had is hearing from customers and how our bases have affected their lives and made them better and allowed them to create music they never thought they could create. And that music has permanence, and it's gone on to make their audience, give them pleasure, and then they go home and they're in a better mood. There's this chain of positive effects that I really like.
Our next mini doc features a Regina couple who started a buzzworthy labor of love. Jade Benish and Jose Rodriguez set up beehive boxes in neighborhoods around the city. They say it's not just about making honey, it's about building community. Jenaline and Tony profiled the couple for her Creator Network mini doc. Here's an excerpt.
When you see it's possible to do it, you don't have to start big. You start a couple of hives and then you can grow from that.
Jose Rodriguez and Jade Benish are making their dream of homesteading in Canada a reality. The couple is bee farming in backyards in downtown Regina. They say it's been a great way to connect with the environment and other people in their community.
I've always wanted a farm, and I was like, well, it was looking like that might not have happened, like it might not happen, right? Land prices, whatever, everyone knows what's going on. But then I was like, oh, what if I can bring some animals here, or have a little bit of what I want. So I really wanted that for the kids.
They see Jay working outside, me helping. For them, is like gonna grow with that, and it's gonna be part of their themselves, right? Like when they are adults.
Jade was diagnosed with ADHD last fall. The diagnosis wasn't a surprise. She says since she was a child, she's always felt something was different about her. But she says working with the bees has helped her manage her mental health and build relationships with her family.
I'm struggling as a parent, I'm struggling as a wife, I'm struggling as a functional member of society. I can always stop the medicine, right? When I sit here and the bees are buzzing around, it just feels alive. I said to Jose, I said it to him twice. I was like, I am so happy. I'm just so happy. And what a change that has been. Okay, yeah, I had a baby. There's probably some postpartum in there too, but yeah, I don't remember the last time I was so happy. So happy. They say it's meditative. Working in the beehives and all that, and yeah, I lose track of time. It's refreshing, and it feels like I accomplished something. I feel so good. Bees are doing awesome. Maybe if they're not, that's okay. You just deal with it, right? But once it's dealt with, or once it's fixed, or okay, we put a queen in there, it should be good. It's yeah, it's uplifting. It's definitely uplifting. I think it's gonna be cool to see him grow up with bees, right? Because he just kind of walks around. There's just bees and...
My mom said I probably did get stung on my finger, but I just didn't feel it, because if the stinger doesn't go in all the way, the venom won't go in and you won't really feel anything. It'll be like a mosquito bite. You don't feel it.
Jade and Jose hope their city is enriched by their homestead and that they are able to share more honey with their neighbors. Together with their 3 children, they are building community and the future they dreamt of.
After the break, you don't have to be a starving artist.
Each day I wake up and I'm like, okay, is this gonna work? But it works.
We meet 2 people who turn their passion for creating visual art into successful careers. For more stories from the CBC Creator Network, stay with us. Welcome back. If you like making sculptures or painting and want to make it your career, you should go for it. In this next mini doc for the CBC Creator Network, filmmaker Jabez Santiago spoke to 2 very different professional artists about how they got where they are and their advice for young artists just starting out.
My name is Jay Goodon. I'm an artist here in Saskatchewan. I'm better known as Wiz1. Not better known, but yeah, also known as Wiz1. Homeboy Sandman made this one album. He said, if I couldn't make art, I would die. And like, that's like, I think that resonated with me like big time.
I think any of us could be brilliant at what we do, but it's a question of finding the right circumstances to allow that to happen. My name is George Glenn, and I'm an artist, a visual artist. What do I do for a living? I'm retired now, so the government pays me to be retired. I wanted to be an artist, so they made no bones about it in undergraduate school that I would be unknown, unpaid, and my life would be pretty much one of poverty. I think I've done better than that, so I've got no complaints about recognition or poverty. Or if it's what you want to do, you do it. It may not even be good, but you keep doing it because you love doing it. I wasn't abstract when abstract painting was current. You know, a lot of my work is figurative. A lot of it relates to still life, not landscape. I respond to those subjects and those works because it's something inside of myself. And that's the only competition I have, is to kind of understand myself better and do that through my art.
When I got to high school and like elementary school, I was always drawing and stuff, but in high school I dipped out and pursued my tattoo career. So I didn't graduate, but I'm self-taught and this is the way it is. My dad was always pushing me to do like I said, I dropped out of high school. So when I did that, he was trying to push me to do like, get a job kind of thing. And I did, obviously, but it always just resorted back to like doing art. And yeah, it just slowly progressed. And over the years, I just kind of met people who kind of pushed me and made me like work harder and become where I am today. My advice would be just this, like, if you're gonna do it, and don't look for the final outcome, you know? Like each day I wake up and I'm like, okay, is this gonna work? But it works. And I love doing it and it makes me happy, and that's what kind of keeps the ball rolling.
Your own worst critic is going to be yourself. And you're going to have that inner voice which tells you it's wrong or it's bad or it's not going to go anywhere. You're going to be a flop. You'll disappoint your parents. You won't contribute to your society. There's no way you can contribute unless you're true to yourself. And there's no way you can be true to yourself if you're always calling yourself down. All those voices that told you you weren't the right kind of person or you had to try harder to be something else, you've got to quieten that voice down and you've got to be yourself.
I remember last day, like the bell rang in grade 8, I was so excited. I got out of that school so fast, and I was like, I had more freedom to go do whatever I wanted to do. And that's kind of like when things kind of popped off for me. And yeah, it just slowly progressed, and over the years I just kind of met people who kind of pushed me and made me like work harder and become where I am today. Like I said, it's still growing, I'm still learning, but I'm very fortunate for like the career that I have right now.
I don't think you can ever promise anybody a career in art. They do it because they have to do it. And if I hadn't had any grants, I would have found some kind of way to do it in some moderated form. It's no different for me than it would be for any other young person. They're going to do it if they have to do it.
Don't try to do stuff that you don't want to do just to do it, you know, if that makes sense? Like, just be real with yourself, and if it feels good, do it, you know? And I think that's kind of like, I never wanted to be anybody, I just wanted to do this stuff. And the more I did it, it just became me. So, like this building, I can't believe I've been here for like 7 years now, and it's like, I don't want to go, but like now it's my kid's spot, you know? So, but now she's getting into painting, and she's in the art shows with me. Like, she sold some pieces there when she was like 3 years old, so it was cool. My daughter looks up to me, and that makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm like on the right path of doing stuff with my art.
Is your dad a big inspiration for you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Think that what you're going to do in your career as an artist as something that's going to save the world. Art can save the world. The work that I do all by myself in my studio is work that can save the world. Whatever you are, whoever you are, however you identify yourself, if you're true to yourself, it'll help you, definitely, but it will also save the world.
A Saskatoon environmentalist is sharing his love for the outdoors with new Canadians. Graham Hopkins partnered with the Open Door Society to create fun adventures that get people outside and connect them with nature. Filmmaker Marzia Kamiabi profiled Hopkins for this Creator Network mini-doc. Here's an excerpt.
My name is Graham Hopkins. I am the volunteer lead and organizer of the Saskatoon Newcomer Youth Outdoor Adventure Club. We are a club presented in partnership with the Saskatoon Open Door Society, which is where we are at today, and we take immigrant young people ages 13 to 18 as well as their friends and family on outdoor recreational activities in the Saskatoon area. I live in Saskatoon. I'm 20 years old. I'm currently on a gap year, and I will be studying paleontology next year. Began on my first gap year. I was coming fresh out of high school, and I really wanted an education in the real world. And I really wanted to pair that passion for the outdoors with volunteer service, because I really believe in the incredible power of outdoor activity in forging connections and making people feel welcome and at home where they live, and in connecting people to the outdoors and to the environment.
I met Graham about a year ago. I had first actually approached him for our Youth Leadership Initiative program, because we're always looking for ways to take youth outside, get them involved in the community, let them try new things. And so this was a great way to keep the youth active and try sports and things like that. So that's how we met, and this partnership has been going on for over a year now.
So I also last year self-published a book with the Saskatoon Public Library, and the book was called Prehistoric Saskatoon, a book for young readers. I think it's really powerful to express your passion in writing. The written word is so amazing because it connects to people across all demographics, across differences. And so climate change is one area where lots of people are really trying to connect with people, but I find oftentimes they struggle. And I think we should really embrace things like outdoor activity and writing and art as a way to bridge that gap.
Like, we run leadership programs at the Saskatoon Open Door Society, specifically catered to youth, and a lot of the programs or topics that come up in these programs is environmentalism. And so we have seen a trend where youth are very aware of the environment and climate change, and lets kids appreciate the outdoors a little bit, I guess. Yeah. One big thing that was really exciting when Graham had reached out about this club was that he's a youth himself. And so because we serve youth clients, it's really special to have another youth lead these youth.
Coming up, a quick look at some of the other Creator Network mini-docs we've created this year. Stay with us.
If you wear something and you're happy with it, go with it.
Like, if you want to wear that fur hat, go for it. If you're happy and you're comfortable, just wear it.
Thanks for staying with us. You're watching some of the recent stories from the CBC Creator Network. The mini documentaries were made by young digital storytellers from right here in Saskatchewan, all of them featuring people who are passionate about following their dreams and making their communities a better place. Here are a couple more clips from some of the recent stories we've done.
When their parents' relationship fell apart, the family decided to move home to Nipawin. Still, Mary says being one of the only Black people in her community was difficult at times.
There's a lot of stigmatism with Black fathers, and I don't have one in my life, so that definitely is a little bit of a setback. My mom's got a lot of comments being like, did you adopt them? Are those your grandkids? Which always really hurts my feelings, because I would never, like, I've come across mixed people, and I assume right away that their parents are their parents. I've had people ask, like, what kind of Black are you? You know, what are you? There's always someone making a weird comment, right?
Despite the challenges, Mary says she's surrounded by family and friends and has always felt supported in her community. She and her Uncle Carrie often go to local schools to teach others how to trap, process fur, and make clothing.
Yeah, like my brother, he's way stronger than me.
I also rediscovered joyful movement, working out because it felt good, not because I wanted to shrink myself. I started dancing again. I became a Zumba instructor. Slowly but surely, I started to feel free. After spending years studying and working in nutrition science, I knew I wanted to help others. That's why I started posting online as the Thick Nutritionist. I use my platform to encourage people to make peace with food, love their bodies, and find joy in movement free from diet culture. I'm also inspiring others to practice the self-compassion I wish I had shown myself when I first moved to Canada. And I've heard from so many people about how I've helped them heal their relationship with food and embrace their bodies with confidence. I now know my body is enough, just as it is, and so is yours.
You can watch those entire mini docs on our website or our CBC Saskatchewan YouTube page. We hope you enjoyed this spotlight on the CBC Creator Network. Do you want to be featured next? Well, if you're a young digital creator and you have a story to tell, get in touch by going to cbc.ca/CreatorNetworkSK. I'm Aishwarya Dudha. Thank you for sharing your time with us.